welcome back to The Explainer. Look, today we're skipping the basic recaps. You already know how Nāgārjuna deconstructs causality, motion, and perception individually. We did all that heavy lifting on the first 3 chapters of his Mūlamadhyamakakārikā, so we're jumping straight into the really good stuff, the big picture. We're assembling Nāgārjuna's ultimate engine of reality. Okay, let's dive into this with a quote that perfectly sets up our mission today. Staring at a stationary piston tells you absolutely nothing about the explosive, terrifying momentum of a vehicle doing 100 miles an hour, right? Analyzing isolated philosophical concepts in a vacuum is exactly like looking at that stationary piston. Sure, you can admire the machining, but to truly grasp Nāgārjuna's vision of reality, we have to experience its explosive momentum in motion. We have to see what actually happens when all these pieces collide. Think about it. Examining causality, motion, and perception separately is essentially like leaving car parts scattered on a clean workbench. It's safe, it's analytical, but honestly, it's not driving anywhere. Our goal right now is to look at the running engine. We need to see how these 3 triads actually mesh together as a single, co-evolving fractal loop. To understand the real momentum of reality, we have to watch them condition, update, and completely rewrite one another in real time. Notice how these 3 conceptual gears interlock. We aren't looking at parallel tracks here at all. The cycle of the perceiver perceiving an object creates the actual conditions for cause and effect, which in turn drives the goer towards a destination, which then instantaneously updates the perceiver. It's wild. They form a deeply participatory, limitless, and centerless karmic cycle. One gear seamlessly turns the next, endlessly conditioning the whole system. Section 1. Perception projects the world, the mind's architecture. This brings us to a really startling realization. The mind is not just some passive observer sitting in the theater of the universe. It is the foundational projector of the entire physical system. Imagine a solid brick wall. Conventionally, we think it exists totally independently of us, right? Just sitting out there. But under Nāgārjuna's framework, that solid brick wall of our spatial and temporal grid completely collapses without the perceiver. We do not live in a dead, independent universe. Actually, the perceptual triad projects the very frameworks of cause and motion onto the raw flux of reality. Those discrete labels we instinctively use, like cause, effect, goer, and destination, they're ultimately just mental imputations. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is, well, picture an omnidirectional virtual reality treadmill. You're physically running in the center of a room, you're sweating, you're feeling this forward progress through a static world, but really, you are merely updating your own coordinates. You're literally getting nowhere fast. This flips conventional physics completely upside down. You feel like a sovereign entity progressing through absolute space. But the space and the movement, they're relational constructs, entirely projected by your conditioned mind. So I have to ask you, if you aren't actually moving through space, what is moving? Well, according to the locomotive triad, which remember is totally intertwined with the perceptual triad, physical motion is just the mechanism for updating the perceiver's karmic state. Think of it as karmic displacement. You aren't traveling through a pre-existing void. Your action of going is merely creating the necessary contact to generate new causal karma and update you, the perceiver. Section 2, Causality and Motion, the engine's drive. Let's shift our narrative to show this feedback loop in action. Causality and motion serve as the relentless mechanical drive that forces the perceiver to continuously evolve. Let's break down the causal feedback loop. Step 1, a cause produces an effect. Step 2, the effect does not terminate the sequence. Step 3, that effect instantly becomes cause 2. Causality provides constant updates to the system. Every single effect instantly becomes the seed for a brand new action. This endless regress and progress is essentially the engine's RPM, spinning infinitely, ensuring reality is never the exact same for even 2 consecutive infinitesimal moments. And motion mirrors this perfectly in the locomotive feedback loop. Step 1, goer 1 initiates going. Step 2, reaches a destination. Step 3, instantly transforms into goer 2. You see, arriving at a destination is never a permanent endpoint. No way. The moment you arrive, that arrival updates your physical coordinates and your karmic state, instantly transforming you into a newly conditioned actor who is ready to move all over again. The end of one cycle is instantaneously the beginning of the next. So, the crucial point is what happens when an action immediately impacts the perceiver. When the perceptual triad encounters an object, that encounter acts as a causal event. It generates new sensations and cognitive imprints. The observed world literally becomes part of the observer's karmic framework in the very next infinitesimal moment. Perceiver 1 is instantaneously updated into a newly conditioned perceiver 2, who then projects a newly conditioned world. It is a continuous co-creative dance. Section 3, the Unified Fractal Web, a limitless and centerless reality. Zooming out from the mechanical gears reveals the staggering macro-level implications of this nonlinear architecture. What we are looking at are the characteristics of what Nāgārjuna calls the karmic mirage. There is no first absolute cause, no final ultimate destination, no independent persisting core, just constant co-creative flux. I want to walk you through this terrifyingly beautiful truth. There is no static, permanent self. You, as you conventionally understand yourself, are merely a temporary, mirage-like intersection of these infinite, interwoven cycles of perception, causality, and motion. Let's see how this builds. Because since these fractal cycles interpenetrate infinitely, the boundaries between the individual, the collective, and the cosmos dissolve entirely. The cosmos is simply the totality of this interdependent dance. My actions are the causes that condition the collective, and the collective's environment is what conditions my perception. This completely destroys the barrier between inside and outside. It's all just one fluid relational process. Section 4, living in the mirage, the middle way in daily life. So, what does this all mean for us? How do we actually live with this knowledge? We need to ground this high-altitude, mind-bending philosophy directly into the relatable grit of daily life. Because I assure you, this framework isn't just for armchair academics. This is the hidden architecture of the mundane. When you are pouring a cup of coffee, feeling sudden deadline anxiety, sitting in brutal gridlock traffic, or paying your monthly mortgage, Nāgārjuna's fractal engine is what is operating behind the scenes. This is the exact underlying reality functioning when your alarm goes off on a Monday morning and you are dreading the commute. To navigate this, we rely on what Nāgārjuna calls the union of the two truths. On one side, conventional truth, functioning seamlessly in daily life, planning trips, paying bills, traveling toward goals. On the other side, ultimate truth, knowing everything is entirely empty of inherent existence. You bridge the cosmic with the mundane by realizing you can navigate conventional reality fluidly, using it as a practical tool without ever contradicting the ultimate truth that none of it is absolutely independently real. This unlocks the intensely practical technology of acting without acting. Step 1. Participate fully in the conventional world. Step 2. Release attachment to fixed outcomes. Step 3. Navigate free from the delusion of absolute endpoints. You are empowered to live effectively and skillfully, but entirely liberated from the psychological baggage of trying to freeze a fluid universe. You stop trying to permanently grasp a destination or control a cause because, well, you know they are just empty, temporary updates. And honestly, the most beautiful result of this realization is that boundless compassion arises naturally. When the suffering of the world is recognized as inseparable from the self, philosophy turns into lived empathy. Recognizing yourself as just a temporary, co-created node in a centerless web grounds a profound, non-dual compassion. The world's suffering is your suffering, because you and the world are co-evolving the exact same karmic engine. There is literally no fundamental separation. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a highly provocative question. Take a moment to deeply contemplate the karmic mirage of your own life. If every destination is strictly just a new beginning, and every identity you hold is just a temporary update in an infinite cycle, what are you so frantically rushing toward today?